And just like last episode, we're gonna start this video off with a shoutout. And this time is Wernich, who shows the gold paw tier over at patreon.com/bowtherainbowwolf. Big PP energy from you, lots of wrinkly brain energy, and all that good stuff from you. Thank you so much for joining, and let's get on with the video. Hey guys, it's your Bow the Doggo, and welcome back to Adastra, episode 11. Last episode, Nefero told us that he knows that I can talk, that I am not dumb, that I am actually intelligent, and while he was doing that, he was also flirting with Amicus. That led to Amicus coming out to us, and we coming out to Amicus. So now the main character and Amicus both have told each other that they are gay, and that they didn't tell, but the main character was thinking that he has some interest in Amicus, and they said that if they win the dance, they are gonna go get some private time in the bedroom. And other than that, we were practicing our dance number, and I think we will perform this dance in this episode during the first trial. So with no further ado, let's go. I dream a lot the night before the first trial. I can't remember most of it, but in the last bit I am in the throne room, surrounded by wolves who I assume are the triumvirates. Kato sits on the throne, watching over all of us, his chin in a fist. Meanwhile, Amicus is in the center, doing some type of breakdance. He's athletic and light on his feet before throwing off his cape and doing a handstand. Then he spins on his head for a while the wolves around him cheer. Even Kato claps reluctantly. Meanwhile, Cassius has his paw in his mouth, realizing that he has been beaten, his paper bones incapable of withstanding such incredible moves. Then I wake up. Let's hope that's foreshadowing. I open my eyes and see a dark outlining of the ceiling above me, the lights automatically coming on to a dim yellow glow. I hear Amicus soft snoring next to me as I look over, seeing that he's flat on his back, mouth open and hugging one of his many pillows to his chest. I roll over on my back, feeling the anxiety of the upcoming trial return. After a while, I whisper up at the ceiling. "Com, what time is it?" Com whispers back. 1:30. So I have at least 3 hours left before I can get up and get ready. I close my eyes and try to get more sleep. It's hard though, mainly because my future could be determined today. Amicus told me that we really only need to win this trial to win the whole thing. That means that Cassius will at least have to partake in the combat trial, if not outright lose if we win the second trial. And according to Amicus, Cassius has absolutely no chance in Pugna combat, and he knows that. While he might still participate in the second trial to save some face, he'd have to withdraw for the third, otherwise face outright humiliation. So if we win tomorrow, I'm almost guaranteed a way home. The thought that this whole fiasco will be over soon brings mixed feelings for me. While I'm going to go home while I get the chance, I can't help but feel a little sad at the idea of leaving Amicus and the palace. We're good friends at this point, and the thought that I might just get dropped off and never see him again. I sigh and listen to the wolf's rhythmic snores. The sound so soft and gentle that rather than keeping me awake, it starts to lull me back to sleep. Nice. Also, I changed shirt because the other one was way too warm. This is also really warm though. I'm dying here. And again, I find myself floating as that wide conscious seems to bleed over the boundaries of any sort of individuality. But I don't panic this time. I'm used to the feeling by now, knowing that it's just a dream that will pass. I also sense that other presence above me, even wider than I am. They've been following me around since I got on that ship. Knowing that someone else is there calms me further, and I wait, wondering if they will talk to me again. They do.
I am still curious.
I try to talk back this time, asking what they are curious about exactly, but I don't have a mouth to speak with. They seem to hear me though, and in response I sense a gentle amusement mixed with fascination?
Many things. But once again, I'm afraid I have to keep it short.
I wait expectantly.
Do you feel that Amicus would be capable of his duties as an emperor of Adastra?
Yes, no, I don't know. Is this the parents that are asking me? What? It has to be. Or is it like the monitor or something? This is what I was talking about before, that I wonder if the parents, like they did when Drusus was before Drusus was the emperor, or when Drusus was the emperor, the parents cut all contact with them until Drusus re-established it or something. I don't remember how the story went, but I think that's what's going on here as well. So maybe it is that the parents aren't like confident in either Cassius or Amicus, and therefore they cut the contact with them and don't want to give them the ability to go out over their universe, because they don't want the wolves to go out and conquer and enslave children. And until they are sure that the emperor is gonna do a good thing, or there will be a good emperor, they will contact them again. But if they feel like, no, this emperor isn't good enough, we will cut contact with them and we won't give them any more of our power. I hope I make sense, but that's what I'm thinking. But I'm gonna say yes, because I think that Amicus will be a good emperor.
Ah, how interesting.
The presence above me starts to dissipate, and so do I. Okay. Did I wake up in the shower then? I stand awkwardly in the bathroom while another wolf moves busily around me, making short clipped comments about my odd shape and tiny stature. He's the first wolf I've seen that isn't part of the Imperial family, so I keep trying not to stare at him while he turns my head left and right, smudging a black substance on my face while he does. Meanwhile, Amicus stands behind us, his face showing a mixture of amusement and concern. I raise an eyebrow at him in the mirror, but he just shrugs in response. Do not move your face, please. I look straight ahead again, letting him smudge the black makeup on my face, still trying not to stare. He's hunched and droopy, wearing some type of monocle with flashing lights. The lens sticks out every now and then, with a mechanical droning sound as he examines his work. Also, I'm in a dress. Hi, my name is Dog. I'm in a dress. You probably wonder how I got here. There's no getting around it. I'm in a blue, tight-fitting gown that is covered in intricate gold designs. It's beautiful, no doubt, but I'm not really one for dresses, and I feel my face heating up with embarrassment every time I look into the mirror. So instead, I focus on staring on the wall, or Amicus. So why aren't you getting dressed up? Don't speak, please. But is it okay to speak in front of, or is it just the Imperial family that you don't want to speak around, and it's fine to speak around this wolf? Because I thought no one should know that you're that intelligent. Me? Well, I'm already dressed a part of the Emperor. Amicus fans out his cape with both paws. I start to roll my eyes, but stop myself before the wolf can yell at me again. I realize that he's painting black stripes on my face, and it immediately reminds me of tiger stripes. Oh, was Mira a tiger then maybe? After that's done, he does the same to the exposed parts of my arms. Remember not to touch or itch your face. Also, keep your arms away from your body unless you want to ruin the fabric with powder. The wolf finally steps back, giving a snort of approval before turning and stuffing his equipment into his bag. Thank you. You're welcome. And with that, the old wolf hurries out of the bathroom, leaving the two of us alone. I stand there a moment, staring at myself in the mirror, feeling like a circus attraction. I look awful. Amicus coughs and steps up quickly, resting upon my shoulder. You look very good, actually. Very elegant. I look up at the wolf and see him smiling at me. I don't know if he's just trying to make me feel better, but then again, I suppose that wolves don't really have an idea what Yumi beauty standards are. I look at the black stripes on my face. Are these tiger stripes? Amicus raises an eyebrow. Yes, actually. You have tigers on Earth? Yeah, is this like okay with them and not offensive? It looks like a joke. Offensive? Why would it be offensive? We're honoring Mira with this dance. If you're sure. Of course I'm sure. And you don't look like a joke. You look like a strong, beautiful Hindu tigress. I sigh again, still awkwardly holding my arms away from the dress, feeling stiff. When does this all start? Well, for me, in about 20 minutes. But for you, another hour or so. Alright. Anything I should expect before it starts? Not much. The triumvirs will be watching through a video link, so only Kato will be there to judge. Oh. Keep in mind that it will be televised live to the rest of Adastra, so... Amicus sees the look on my face. Maybe I shouldn't have told you that? Oh no. All of Adastra? Live? Don't worry. No one will actually be there in person, so just... pretend, I guess. Why did you just tell me that? Well, I had planned on you watching the first half of the trials in the dining room. You'll know how everything is going until it's your turn. I swallow hard. I didn't mean to keep that from you. I just thought that you might know that this would be the case. The entire moon pays very close attention to these trials. He's right. I guess I sort of did assume that this would be the case, but now that it's actually happening, I feel like I'm gonna pass out. Maybe I'll get lucky, and it will happen when Mira dies during the dance. Listen, you'll be fine. We'll win this, and before you know it, I'll be the Emperor, and our problems will be over. Again, the idea of having my way home all but guaranteed in the next hour. It reminds me of the thoughts I had last night. So, when I do get home, is that gonna be the last time I'll see you? The corner of Amicus' mouth switches down in a frown, but only for a moment before he smiles again. Well, I suppose that's up to you. With unlimited access to the stretch, I might be able to make visits every now and then. Would you like that? I don't even have to think about it. Yes. Yeah. Amicus smiles and widens. I would as well. Yeah, I mean, I'm your friend, and I want to hear about the results of your empire. But then Amicus' smile falters, then it turns into a frown. Oh, are we only friends? Oh, I see. What? The wolf is quiet for a moment, and then his ears flatten. I forgot the reason you're here in the first place. For a moment, I don't know what he's talking about. But then I do. We're not even supposed to know each other exists. This whole thing against the law. Oh, so I guess you wouldn't be able to do that, huh? Amicus bites his lip, then shakes his head. We'll figure it out, but now is not the time for that. We have a trial to win. Amicus turns to me and, after a little hesitation, pulls me into a quick side hug, carefully avoiding the black powder on my arm. We'll talk more afterwards over a celebratory dinner, alright? The absolute confidence and reassuring in Amicus' voice calls me just a little, and I manage a small smile. Alright. Good, and little more celebration after that, if you get my meaning. I had almost forgotten about that. Amicus? If you want. Amicus chuckles before his ears perks up, his person will come, talking to him quiet in a babbling sound. Alright, that's my cue. Head over to the dining room if you would like to watch. Otherwise, Com will tell you when to leave for the throne room, alright? I nod, and Amicus gives me one last pat on the shoulder before turning away. Good luck. I know you're gonna do great. Amicus waves at me before walking out the door, leaving me alone to wait. I move to the bed and sit down, carefully resting my arms out on the sides, wishing they'd applied the makeup a little closer to the dance so I didn't have to walk around like a scarecrow. I realized pretty quickly that sitting here in silence is only making me more nervous, so I slowly get up, making my way to the main hall. As usual, the halls are empty. The only people living here are the Imperial siblings, Kato and Neferu. The old makeup wolf is the only other person I've seen over the past 2.5 weeks that I've been here. It makes me think that I still want to see the city before I leave. If I leave. I block that thought from my brain, trying not to think what might happen if these trials go poorly for us. Instead, I try to let the bright sunshine and fresh morning air calm my nerves. Eventually, I make my way to the dining room, and when I look in, I see Alex sitting on one of the beds. Oh, Oh right, he's also gonna dance, that's why he doesn't have a shirt on. His ears perks up when he sees me, eyes widening in surprise. Oh, hello, Bo! How are you? He stares at my face, and then down my costume. I feel myself turning red, and I desperately wish that I had stayed in Amiko's room. I'm able to swallow the embarrassment down for now, though. I know Alex pretty well after all. Wait, where is your costume? At this point, I feel like I'm the only person being made to play dress up. I sit down on the middle bed, not wanting to sit directly across from the cat where he would have to stare at me. Should I be in one? I shrug. I don't know. They put me in one, obviously. Obviously! And that powder too! I glare at Alex. I mean, you look good! Very bold! So why the hell aren't you dressed up as Mira? We're doing the same dance, right? Well, yes, though Cassie's instructed me to be in my underwear, so actually, I think I'd prefer your situation. Sure. Seriously? You think I want all of Adastra to see my naked torso? Alex hugs himself, shuddering. It's so embarrassing! I sigh and sit back on the bed, only now noticing that Cassius is on the screen, playing some sort of brass instrument that looks to be vaguely in the shape of a French horn. It sounds nothing like one though. The volume is low, but I can hear the raspy sputtering sound it's making. Not pleasant to my ear, but then the idea of what music and dance is seems very different from Earth. It could also be that it's making some kind of sound that only dogs can hear, but we humans can't hear them. Not that I am a human, I would be able to hear that. Well, I'd prefer to be half naked. And if this is my introduction to the moon, why am I all covered up like this? I'm pretty sure they'd rather get a better look at what I actually look like. But as I'm saying that, I wonder if maybe that's why Amicus had me so covered up. The dress looks very good actually. It's just the makeup that surprises me. I suppose it's very woven to do something like that. It's probably very racist. I look at Alex frowning. Woven? Is this offensive? Maybe just a smidge, but not to the wolves, so you have nothing to worry about. The Hindos don't talk to Adastra anymore. Oh my god. I want to bury my face in my hands, but I can't with all this makeup on. And on top of that, it's all starting to itch. This is so stupid. Alex chuckles. It really is. The wolves are so obsessed with spectacle and drama, which is why the trials are used instead of elections. Or even just sound judgment from a council. Alex gestures up to one of the screens. It's an Adastran holiday right now, so everyone can watch this. Cassius has finished his little song, standing up and bowing. Along the right edge of the screen, 5 little boxes pop up, each one containing the faces of 3 wolves sitting solemnly side by side. Though, anyway, the people are having a role of choosing their empire here, with their elected triumvirates making the decision. But then, I don't understand why the song and dance should apply. So why would Cassius and Amicus campaign then, if they're just going to be chosen through these trials? Well, if the decision isn't clear, then why not choose the wolf that has the most popularity with the people? It increases the chance of a re-election. Amicus suddenly appears on the screen, sitting down, a spotlight on him as he begins to blow the same instrument. Again, that raspy blatting sound that would make me cringe if it were a human instrument at a human concert. I have no idea if he's better than Cassius or not. A general popularity is good to have anyway. A happy people is usually a more peaceful and easy to control society. So, Amicus is at a disadvantage then? Unless he clearly outperforms Cassius. I sigh, watching as the wolf's cheeks puff up each time he blows into this little horn, his eyes almost crossed with effort. I guess you elect your officials? Yes. So does most of... I find myself almost saying the name of my planet again. It's harder and harder to keep this a secret from Alex, especially as our relationship has become more casual. Our tribes. At least I think that's what they are on the Simian planet. I just have to hope that Alex doesn't actually look it up. But he continues like he didn't notice my pause, like he always does. I think he noticed. Anyways, despite the competition, I still consider you a friend and I hope that you feel the same. Maybe we can have lunch in the garden soon, no matter the result. Yeah, let's do that. Wonderful! We sit in silence for another 10 minutes or so, watching as Amicus finishes his horn playing. Then Cassius takes the spotlight again and begins singing. He's actually just howling. Cassius' head leaned back, muscles tipped towards the ceiling, looking just like a wolf on Earth as he howls to the moon. I think he's saying words, but I can't really understand, especially with the odd high-pitched tone he has. Meanwhile, a little gauge pops up in the bottom of the screen, a needle going back and forth with the pitch of the howl. They want the indicator to stay in the middle. It represents the better control of the song. It's short, only a few minutes before Amicus' turn, doing the same as Cassius, except his howl is deeper, fuller, a lot better, I think. I'd also like to think that needle stays in the middle more often than it had for Cassius, but I'm not sure. Towards the end of Amicus' song, Tom's voice crackles gently over our heads. Alex, Bo, the dance begins in 5 minutes. Please proceed to the throne room doors. My heart skips a beat as we both stand up, Alex leading the way to the hall. I wonder if he's nervous too. Even though he looks calm, his tail lashes back and forth as we walk. I don't try to talk to him, feeling like we're both a little preoccupied with our own thoughts right now. We get to the big double doors and wait side by side. Alex's paws are folded neatly in front of him, so I do the same. I try to breathe evenly. I've never been good in front of big crowds, and even though it's technically only Kato there, I can't forget the fact that millions of people are going to be watching. Dance trials begins in 5, 4, 3, 2... The door slides open, and I find myself staring into a darkened throne room, the windows deeply tinted so that only a vague hint of sunlight comes through. I immediately see Amicus straight ahead of me, bathed in a bright sunlight. The same can be said for Cassius, about 10 meters to his right. Kato sits on the throne, just like in my dream. I also notice Virginia and Nefero sitting next to each other on one of the benches. That alone makes me even more nervous. But then the voice comes over the PA. Not com, but something else. Sounding old and frail. Presenting Pet Alexius from Moonomorpha and Pet Bo from Planet Semia. Amicus and Cassius reach out one paw, and Alex starts to walk towards on his toes, looking light and sophisticated. I quickly follow suit, trying to sort of mimic his walk. I never practiced my entrance with Amicus. I start to wonder if I'm even more underprepared than I thought I was. But no time to think about that now. I do the best I can with my stupid prancing walk before coming to a stop in front of Amicus, reaching out a hand to rest on his big paw. He smiles reassuringly down at me, and for some reason, his presence makes me a little less nervous than I'd been while waiting alone for the trial to start. We stand there quietly for a moment, but then that old voice starts up again, but now is in a howl. High, wavering, and faint. Explorant Adver Viro. He started to recite the story in the same howl, but it's harder to hear, and now that there are words... Wait, I can't understand it. He's speaking... Oh, fuck. The lingua isn't translating the song. Immediately, I start to panic and see Amicus raise up his paw. I probably have a look of horror on my face because his reassuring smile has turned into a frown. Jerkily, I raise my hand up to touch on the wolf's paw, trying to stay calm. I can do this. Sure, I attach a lot of the movements to the words in the song, but I remember the order of the poses, I think. Still, the unexpected blunder has me flustered and stumbling, my movements hesitant and definitely unelegant. I'm so frazzled that I don't really have time to dwell on the fact that Alex and Cassius are doing the dance at the same time. Are we competing for Kato's and the watching triumvirate's attention? I try to stay focused on Amicus, watching his movements, hoping I might remember enough of his cues to get through all the movements correctly. My failing apart must be affecting Amicus as well, his brow furrowed in confusion, his movements also becoming slower, more hesitant. Fuck! I think I feel sweat running down my face, probably turning my striped makeup into a streaked mess. Several times I'm caught staring at Amicus, unsure of what to do until I look over at Alex and see what he's doing. The cat looks totally in his element, stretching and elongating his body, luxurious in tandem with Cassius. The wolf isn't bad himself, taking the clear lead in the dance as he dips and sways with Alex's body. Meanwhile, I fumble around with Amicus, watching as the powder on my sweaty arms smears on his fur, leaving long black smudges on his chest and arms. This is a disaster. Finally, we get to Mira's death, and at least I know when this is supposed to happen because I see Amicus reach out dramatically for me. This is the only moment in the entire dance that I feel confident in what I'm doing, and I put everything into my swoon. But so does Alex. Oh no. Amicus is already next to me to catch me before I can start to fall, but Alex swoons while Cassius is still meters away from him, but the other wolf smoothly glides over to the side to catch him. Alex lays there in Cassius' arms, sprayed out dramatically, looking somehow serene and distressed at the same time. The spotlight almost makes the pair glitter, and even I feel there's a good deal of chemistry between the two of them. There had been a small but definite hope on my end that Alex might actually help out here, maybe throw the dance in our favor with a fall or a stumble, but it looks like he's putting everything into this performance. Cassius, despite his reputation of being weak, looks strong and confident, easily supporting Alex's weight as the cat dips further towards the ground. At the same time, the wolf's howl reaches a new pitch, the climax of the story. And that's when Alex turns his head to Cassius for a deep, passionate kiss. Aww. Even though Mira is supposed to be gone at this point, Alex reaches up to caress Cassius' face, pulling him in deeper. Meanwhile, the bodies pressed closer together, Cassius very clearly grinding his hips against the cat's, the paw that is not supporting Alex instead running up his thigh, before dipping under Alex's underwear, pushing it up until most of the cat's thigh is showing. And then they just writhe against each other like that, as if caught in the throes of passion, the movements of the muscles telling me that a lot is going on past those lips. The entire act stuns me, almost making me forget about the disaster that our own dance has been. Cassius turns, carrying Alex with him as he faces them in the other direction, never breaking the kiss. In fact, their groping and grinding getting even more intense. Amicus, you see what they are doing? I'm seeing what they are doing. Let's do the same. Let's copy them. He's giving everyone a good view of what's happening. If the whole idea of this dance was to capture the attention and make the story and feeling believable, well, I believe them. In fact, I believe that there is a lot more going on between the two than I originally thought. That might explain why Alex wouldn't want to hurt Cassius' chance of being an emperor. Maybe my hopes that Alex would help us were completely naive. And that's when I suddenly snapped back into reality, as I hear Amicus grunt above me. Oh, Amicus. I've been so enamored with Cassius and Alex's kiss that I've forgotten about our own. Seeing a preview of what I might have to do with Amicus though, I blush, steeling myself, getting ready as the wolf starts to lean over towards me, his lips puckered up slightly. I ready my own lips, but then suddenly Amicus turns his head to the side slightly, landing a kiss on my cheek instead. It's soft and fleeting, and before I know it, Amicus pulls back before gently lowering me to the cold marble below. I recognize the word Adastra in the howl before everything goes quiet. I hear Alex getting up a few feet away, so I do the same, Amicus quickly hurrying over to help me up in my dress. It's only then that I see the various drones floating around above us, the attached lenses making me realize that there are cameras. I quickly duck my head, not wanting the people to see the smeared offensive makeup on my face. Amicus holds me close to his side, not saying anything, thankfully. Cassius continues to look straight ahead, and I can see Alex glancing at us, looking confused. Then Com's voice. The Triumvirs has made their decisions. Lupus, Cassius. Ad Rota, Cassius. Lux, Cassius. Gebi, Cassius. Triselli, Cassius. Adastra? The camera drone swivels to focus on Kato. He swifts in his throne, before grunting out his answer. Cassius! The trial has been decided. Cassius is the victor. There's a moment of stunned silence, and then the windows untint and the camera drones lazily drift their way up into some ceiling compartment. I'm left standing there, looking around at the others. Kato is walking down the steps from his throne, in the direction of Cassius. Meanwhile, Virginia is whispering to Nefero, behind the fences, casually waving into her face. Cassius is petting Alex's head, murmuring under his breath. Finally, Amicus stands awkwardly to my side, not even looking at me, his paws behind his back and his eyes on Kato. I suddenly realize again how stupid I look. Can I go change? I mumble to Amicus, keeping my voice low like everyone else, as if we were in a library or something. Sure. Do you want... I don't let him finish. I'm walking as fast as I can to the double doors, knowing that everyone's eyes are on my back as I pause to touch the black panel. Not sure where I'm putting this little break, about halftime I think. So if I'm wearing other clothes than I just did, I'm recording this in the future. Anyhow, feel free to take a break, take a drink, go to the toilet, and we'll continue with the video right now. Let's go! Once I'm in the main hall, I'm able to breathe a little easier, starting to feel the anger coming out through the absolute humiliation. I don't know exactly what I'm angry at. I thought he would be sad and he would be running out crying, but that would maybe just be me. Not Amicus, even though maybe he should have had an idea that howls don't translate. Not Kato or the Triumvirates. They made the right decision. I'd been a complete disaster out there. I guess I'm just mad at this whole system, that the responsibility of getting home rests on me just as much as the guy that got me here in the first place. It isn't fair. So I guess I'm pissed at Amicus in a way, but the anger is a lot broader than that. I'm angry at the entire system. So I go straight to the bathroom, roughly trying to yank off the stupid dress. It's tight around my neck, and I spend the next minute doing an awkward dance, trying to find the button on the back so that I can loosen it. Eventually, I just rip it off before wiggling out of the dress, feeling a little guilty only after I see the beautiful fabric crumped up on the ground. I stand there, breathing heavily, sweaty and hot. I look into the mirror and I'm a little surprised to see the makeup still mostly intact on my face. Which reminds me, I'm also pissed that the first time I get paraded out in public is in a racial costume and makeup. I get in the shower, letting the hot water run over my face, feeling a little better now that I'm alone with my thoughts, and out of the tighter dress. Still, my mood is a bit dark. I guess now I can actually start to consider that I might actually be living here forever. While my mind initially rejects the idea, I guess it's not the worst fate. I'd at least be living in a palace with Amicus, and I know that he will be taking care of me. At least I think he would. Maybe this whole pet thing is temporary, and if he loses the trial, he'll just throw me out with the trash. Maybe kill me like he once mentioned on the ship. Under my gloomy contemplations though, I know that that's not the case. I know he wouldn't do that, but I can't promise myself that I'd be able to get friendly with him if things really do go south. He told me this would be easy so many times. Even if the lingo hadn't messed up, I doubt we still would have won. After a good half hour, I finally get out of the shower. I stand in front of the fans for a bit, enjoying the way it whips my hair around before I pick up some underwear off the hook and tie it on. I'm pretty fast at doing that now, not even having to think about it. Finally, I open the door. Wow, new light, new clothes, new me? Yes, little more anxious today, but let's continue. The cool air that rushes in is refreshing after such a hot shower, but I'm immediately treated to the sight of Amicus walking away from the door, probably in the middle of pacing. He immediately turns around at the sound though, his eyes wide. Hey, Bo, how are you? Great. I walk over to the dresser, opening the one that's full of children's robes. Really? Sure. I hear Amicus huff behind me. Please, I don't want to deal with that mood you're in right now. I just want to talk. That's fair, but him telling me to stop sulking is just making me sulkier. You know, I would love to have talked like a week ago about this stupid trial. Imagine how much better it would have gone if I'd actually memorized the dance rather than just following the cues for you and the song. I whip out the robe. Which, by the way, isn't a song. You always make fun of Earthling in our primitive ways, but at least we actually have variety in our music. Oh, and we can actually sing, not that creepy howling sound that sounds like you're dying. Amicus frowns at me, his ears flat. You're upset? No, why made you think that? Bo, stop it. I'm just as upset and disappointed as you probably are. Was it the cameras? Maybe Kato that made you nervous? What happened? I'm quiet for a moment as I started tying on my robe. Then suddenly Amicus' paws reaches out, grabbing my right hand and yanking it away from my clothing. What? What happened to your paw? I look down and see the wolf staring at the palm of my side of my hand with eyes wide before turning it this way and that. What? Your skin, it's bunching up. Are you having a reaction to the powder? I stare at him confused before pulling my hand away to look at my pearly fingers. No, I was just in the shower too long. My skin does that when I'm wet for a long time. I've never noticed that before. You take short showers. The wolf frowns at me, then snatches my hand up again to stare at the fingers in fascination, even as I try to yank it back. At that point, I feel my mood about to take a turn in one of two directions, either exploding at Amicus in frustration and anger over everything, or just laughing. And I find myself doing the latter, chuckling at first before letting out a loud guffaw. Amicus gives me a strange look, finally letting me go. Are you sure you're right? You're worrying me. I sigh as I finish tying on my robe before flopping back onto the bed, hands above my head as I let the pleasant cool air drift down from the ceiling to blanket my body. I know I'm going to get too cold in a few minutes, but for now it feels good. Remember how you said that the lingo has trouble translating some things? Yes, I hear the wolf pause as he figures out what went wrong. Heard nothing but wailing Latin in that howling noise. I had no idea what I was doing. Oh gods! There's a heavy thump, and I feel the mattress crater and tilt sideways a bit as Amicus sits down next to me. So yeah, Bo, I'm sorry. I didn't even contemplate that possibility. It's fine. I don't think either of us could have. I mean, I've listened to music from the Cats before, and I've never had an issue with lyrics translating. I shrug. I don't know. Doesn't the lingo try to understand the intention too? Maybe I'm meant to hear the true language when you guys sing. It was happening while you were doing the song, even though I didn't realize it then. Oh, you heard me sing? I can hear the embarrassment in Amicus' voice. Yeah, it sounded fine, honestly. I was just being a dick earlier. I know. But still, I'm tired of you trashing on human culture. I know. And I knew that makeup was offensive, by the way. I looked like an idiot for all Adastra to see. You look good. I turn my head towards the wolf. Oh really? Fumbling around like an idiot with no clue what he's doing looks good? Amicus stays quiet this time. I stare back up at the ceiling. I guess I'm at least keeping up the dumb primitive ape act, right? Amicus just sighs, getting up. I watch as he slowly walks over to the sofa and sits down. I have to say that although you are a very kind, intelligent person, you are very frustrating when you get into these moods. Frustrating? Just so gloomy and self-defeated. You remind me of Cassius sometimes. I pull a face. Since when is he self-defeating? He seems pretty full of himself to me. You don't know the real Cass. He very much dislikes himself. Also, don't compare me to your brother. I really don't want to be thinking about him right now. I'm just saying. I prefer the lighter spirits. It suits you more. I'll work on it. A long silence goes by, and with the way that Amicus is shifting around, I can tell that he wants to ask me something. What is it, Amicus? Well, I guess that little celebration is out of the question now. The dinner? I sit up suddenly, giving him an incredulous look. Seriously? Whoa, I was just kidding. We just lost the trial. You're one trial away from losing the emperorship, and you're seriously thinking about that? I was just having a bit of fun. No, you want the pity handy. It's not like I need you to do it. I can get the job done myself. Then do it. I will. Amicus sits there huffily, not making eye contact. I sigh, remembering what the wolf said about improving my mood. I often criticize Amicus for his tantrums, reminding him that it won't help us to sulk. It's kind of hypocritical that I don't hold myself to the same standards. Amicus, I'm sorry. I've just got a lot on my mind, obviously. Listen, I know that this went much different than we had planned, but I will certainly win the next trial. I've debated Cassius many times before. Do I have to do anything? Other than watch? No. When is it? 2 weeks from now. You better win. I will. I sigh again, realizing that the knot I've had in my stomach the past few weeks has a bit longer to stick around. And I might still... I make a jacking motion in the air. Later on. I'm just not in the right state of mind right now. I understand. It was way too early to make light of things. Though, maybe we could do something else that would make us both feel better. Something else? Yes, like... could I just, hold you? Amicus' voice gets uncharacteristically high on the last word. Hold me? I repeat his words. Why would you want to do that? Well, companionship is part of pet's duty. It might also be comforting to you, considering how stressful the past few weeks have been. Again, that hopeful look, and again, I actually feel bad for him. How lonely do you have to be just to want to cuddle someone? But at the same time, I want to. I might not want to admit it, but I've also been lonely these past 3 weeks, emotionally and physically. Aww. Also, I really liked our shorter hugs, so a longer one. Try not to look too eager myself. I sigh and stand up. Amicus' ears immediately perk up in a happy surprise. He leans back, legs together, waiting as I walk up to him. Do you... I sit down on his lap, a little awkwardly at the first, as I wobble around, then I finally settle on turning sideways. Ah! Knees drawn up as I lean my shoulders against his chest. This is so cute. Amicus pauses and then wraps his arms around me. Despite the awkward start, I'm amazed at the way that I just sort of fit against the curves of his body. His big furry arms envelop me, and I feel the muscles tighten briefly before relaxing. His soft stomach cushions against my side, making it feel like I'm leaning against a big, furry, but firm waterbed. Aww. His chest is broad and thick, propping my head up comfortably as he scoots his butt out a bit to help us better recline. Then he tucks my head under his chin, and just like that, I'm surrounded by his warmth, the cold that has started to bite at my bare skin dissipating immediately. This is so adorable, I can't even, Jesus. I feel a little thrill in my chest at the feeling of having this wolf so large and powerful hug and cuddle me so gently. I'm so jealous! Something about this is so nice. Amicus just holds me in silence for a while, and I feel his paws shift around a bit, like he's kneading through the robe to the skin on my back. Finally, his deep voice rumbles through his chest against my ear. Is this alright? Yeah, it's fine. I blush, embarrassed at how much I am enjoying this. Originally, I just wanted to make him feel better, but he was right about this making me feel better. Amicus rubs his chin down against the top of my head, and I hear him inhale. I suppose this isn't the normal thing to do on Earth. Well, it is if you're dating someone. It's not a usual thing with friends, though. Ah. Amicus paws at me a bit more, making those tiny movements as if he's trying to feel as much as possible without being obvious about it. So, what is dating on your planet? I shrug, though it's hard to do against the wolf's tight embrace. Just asking someone you like out on a date. Basically just means that you like the person and you want to know more about them, and dating helps you do that. Ah, sounds fairly casual. So, how does one initiate dating? Oh, I don't know. Just asking them. Give them flowers, if your own fashion. But it's pretty casual, honestly. Is this something Amicus will do to us? Like bring flowers and be like, do you want to go on a date with us? Why are you so curious? It's Amicus' turn to shrug. I always want to be careful about your boundaries. It's easy when I understand your culture better. I lean against the wolf, realizing that even though I made a complete fool out of myself just half an hour earlier, I feel fine. I kind of hope that this isn't the last time we do something like this. And knowing Amicus, it likely won't be. It's a few days later when I'm finally able to hang out with Alex like we planned. Cassius had stepped up his campaigning over the past several days as his chances of becoming an emperor increased, and so did Amicus after his decreased. The difference being that Alex often found himself going on campaign trips with a white wolf, while Amicus always left me behind. I think Amicus picked up on the fact that I don't like being out in front of so many people after the whole dance incident. Still, he promised me that when we win the next trial, we will go out to the city to celebrate. For now, I am happy to stay in the gardens with Alex, enjoying a quiet midday meal as we both talk and sip our tea. Honestly, they should have us redo the dance if your lingua wasn't translating, Was yours? Wolves never intend of their lyrics to translate over the lingua because it ruins the howl, which they see to be the whole point of the singing. I could understand Amicus overlooking that though. Most wolves never see another sibling species in person in their entire lives. Well, it's over now. On to the debate thing that we're gonna do next. Oh yes! Cassius has been training with the best rhetorician on the moon, Marcus Manius. I notice that I put a bit of emphasis on the name, and I look over at him. Alex sips his tea daintily, watching the fountain lazily. He offered Cassius many tips on convincing the triumvirates. Very useful tips, actually. Is Amicus doing anything similar? I realized then that Alex is actually offering me information on what Cassius is doing to prepare for the trial. At least, I think he is. Whether that's the case or not, I try to remember the name of the rhetoric guy, knowing I should tell Amicus later. I'm really not sure. He hasn't told me that much about what he's doing, but hopefully it's something similar. Well, I recommend that he studies the triumvirates and their cities, if only to find the best way to convince them during the second trial. Yep, definitely offering me information. The thing is, after seeing the way that he and Cassius interacted, I wonder if I can fully trust him. You know, Cassius was saying something earlier while I was serving him about 2 weeks ago. Did you know that he plans to get rid of the triumvirates? Alex's eyes widened for a moment. Oh, really? I wonder why. Something about it being easier to rule directly rather than through elected officials? Well, that's some radical thinking, isn't it? That's what Virginia said. Well, she always been rather reasonable. Honestly, Alex leans in, lowering his voice. I'd rather she became the Empress, but unfortunately, the rules don't allow females to hold position much authority, so her chances of being on the throne are nil. Alex's eyes suddenly widen as he looks over my shoulder. I raise an eyebrow, and then look back to see Nefero making his way towards us. Uh-oh, here comes trouble! I turn around to see Alex looking down towards the ground, his tail lashing around before he holds it in his lap. Oh. The jackal stops to stand in front of us. Without a word, he dedicatedly takes one of Alex's paws and bows low to kiss it. Alex raises his other paw to his mouth, blushing furiously. Meanwhile, Nefero nods at me. Good day, Alex and Bo. How is your midday meal? Alex still has his paw to his mouth, so I answer for him. Oh, it's okay. How are you? Splendid. I notice then that he's carrying a bottle in his paw, the glass glinting in the sunlight with his every move. I was just taking a walk through the gardens this morning when I happened to cross a shockingly large spider that skittled across the ground at my paws. Nefero sweeps his paw in front of himself, as if showing where the spider ran. I can't help but wonder if I'm in danger here. Alex finally speaks then, squeaking with the first syllable. No, they're rather harmless. Their venom is very mild. Ah, well that's a relief to hear, Alex. I often have to shake my long clothes out before wearing them in case of scorpions. Oh, really? That's terrifying. It certainly can be, but it's something you get used to. Alex and Nefero smiles at each other for a moment, and I frown at the cat, wondering what the hell he's doing. Oh yes, I came to give you this. Nefero leans down and holds out the glass bottle that I now see that is filled with a honey-colored liquid that sloshes lazily in the bottle. The Buna seed oil I promised. Much better for the fur than the Adastra oil they have for us. Alex reaches out and takes the bottle, blushing again. Thank you, Nefero. I'll use it first thing tomorrow. And I'll see you again tomorrow to make sure that you do. The jackal winks, and I think I hear Alex make a strangled noise in his throat. Are these two also having something going on? In the meantime, would you like to take a walk with me? Nefero once again extends his paw. Alex coughs awkwardly before reaching out to take it. Wonderful! You're always such great company. Would you like to join us as well, Bo? I think back to what happened in the baths. No thanks. Oh, in that case, I'll see you around the palace. Yeah, see ya, Bo! Nefero offers his arm to the cat, and just like that, they're off to the gardens, disappearing around many bushes lining the footpaths. I stare after them, a bit confused, still unclear of what exactly the jackal is doing. I'm also reminded that I need to ask Alex why the hell he told Nefero about my intelligence. Only problem is, I don't know how to do that without seeming suspicious. Technically, there isn't a reason why it's supposed to be a secret, and I feel like bringing it up will only give the cat even more reason to dig more deeply. As I'm wondering all of this, I notice a shape in the bushes, near the ones that Alex and Nefero disappear behind. I see a flash of red, and maybe an elbow poking out. What the... Amicus? I yell out in his direction, and I see the wolf jump, suddenly coming out from behind his cover. What are you doing in the bushes, man? Yes, I was just having a look at the roses. The wolf walks towards me, his paws behind his back. I raise an eyebrow at him. Were you spying on us? Were you trying to avoid Nefero or something? Amicus ignores me this time. How was your day, Bo? Okay. I try to look around the wolf's side at whatever he's hiding behind his back, but he turns accordingly to keep it obscured. Have he been picking roses to be like, wanna go on a date with me? Let's hope. What are you doing? Well... Amicus takes a deep breath and I feel myself starting to get nervous. Then he goes down on one knee. Oh my god, it's happening! Bo, over the past few weeks, I've come to enjoy your company immensely. My mouth drops. And over the past few weeks, I've come to realize that we share so much in common in terms of our goals and desires. Amicus gives a coy smile at that. What are you... So, I decided I should take it to the next step, to make you feel more welcome and just to show you how much I appreciate your kindness and understanding. The wolf suddenly swings his paw to his front, revealing what he had been hiding. It's a bouquet of purple flowers, lavender to be exact, along with several small white flowers sprinkled into the mix. Oh, Amicus, it is so cute! I can't even... Oh! Bo, will you date me? Yes, Amicus, yes! Music gets cut! I stare at the wolf, still taking in the presentation he's just been giving me. My mouth still hangs open as I make a few sounds as I try to form a coherent sentence to respond in my mind. I probably messed that up, huh? Well, hopefully the message came across clearly. What do you think? I'm stunned. And that's good? Amicus, what is this? I did something wrong, didn't I? Well, I mean, did you mean to do it? The whole thing is crazy, but Amicus' demeanor doesn't really match with the proposal he just made. Did I mean to ask you out on a date? Well, yeah, did you? Yes? It's so sweet. It's so sweet, I can't. Now the wolf is really fidgeting, tugging at his cape nervously as he lowers the bouquet to hang limply at his side. I have an odd butterflies in the stomach feeling that won't seem to go away. Just say yes, goddammit! I don't know what this means, but I try to ignore it. The wolf suddenly deflates, looking dejected. No! Did I pick up the incorrect meaning? I clear my throat, trying to gather my wits. What do you think dating is? Well, what you told me. It's a relationship status that enables you to become closer, learning more about each other along with normalizing physical intimacy. Well, he seems to have it down for the most part. The part that I'm having trouble with though, well, people that date also tend to have, I guess, feeling for each other. Stop being like, do you obviously have feelings for Amicus, stop it! Just come to terms with it, god dang it! Well, yes, I have very friendly feelings towards you, and I want to make you feel comfortable around me, especially when it comes to physical intimacy. Isn't that the point of dating? I sigh, realizing that I haven't explained it well enough. But then again, I hadn't realized that Amicus was planning to do this either. Well, usually people don't do this unless they love each other. I mean, just talking about now you're talking about the proposal thingy. People can go on dates even though they don't love each other. They can be interested in each other, and that's why they go on a date. Now you're getting the proposal thing was a bit big and cute, and usually would be only work if you're actually like in love with each other. I say, but I think this would work also for if you were interested in someone and doing like this. If you know that other person is interested in you back, it can be really cute to do something like this. So I'm not really agreeing on this one. My voice gets quieter and quieter over the course of the sentence until Amicus have to poke his ears forward to hear me. Love? Yeah. Oh. Amicus stands there for a moment before the inside of his ears turns bright red. You said it was casual! The wolf raises his voice, the sudden increase in volume making me jump. Well, it is! I mean, you don't necessarily have to be in love to date, but the intention is usually to find love. Dear gods, was your intention just to humiliate me after the dance? What the hell are you talking about? How was I supposed to know that you were planning this? I think me asking the questions had made it fairly obvious. I mean, it did. You assume way too much. Clearly. No, the wolf tosses the bouquet to the side, letting it land on the bench before it rolls off to the ground. No! Amicus slumps onto the bench next to me, his ears still red. I let him grumble to himself for a minute or two, wanting him to cool off from the initial embarrassment. Then I reach out to rest a hand on his broad shoulder. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to embarrass you. Besides, how were you supposed to know? It's an Earth thing. Amicus waves his paw. It's fine. Like I said, I assumed too much. I lean over to pick up the bouquet, seeing how the flowers just kind of look bunched together. You made this yourself? Well, yes. The garden has many flowers. It smells like you. Yes. It looks good. Thank you. We sit quietly for a few more minutes as I pretend to examine all the flowers in the bouquet. So, it's either friendship or love with humans. No physical intimacy unless you're bound to fall in love? What do you mean? Like this dating culture you have. You were interested in giving me that sexual favor. Does that mean that you're also interested in love with me as well? I blush. Yes! Well, not exactly. Didn't you say that dating allows for more intimacy, but dating is also meant to look for love? I sigh and set the bouquet aside. Things are changing, becoming more casual. I say the word carefully and Amicus snorts. But I guess the term that you might be looking for is friends with benefits. Benefits? Friends that have sex, basically. Oh, I see. We haven't done that though. No, but I'm not gonna make you date me just for a handjob. Amicus scratches behind his ear before looking away again. Once again, I find myself feeling bad for him. Listen, if we weren't having this whole, I lower my voice. Illegal space adventure? I might say yes. What? Really? I said might. Oh, really? I think you're missing the keyword here. I think I understand. I find myself turning red again, wishing that I just kept my mouth shut. Well, maybe I might as well. Well, you already asked. Without knowing the full meaning. I tried to think of something to change the subject, knowing that my blush is clear as day to the wolf and that he's very much enjoying it. Anyway, Alex told me that Cassius was turning on the rhetoric person. Marcus Manlius or something? Amicus suddenly frowns. Marcus Manius? Really? I think that's what he said. Damn. Amicus' tone is out of awe. Is that bad? It's simply surprising. He's one of the most famous Adastra rhetorician there is. Should I be worried? No. In fact, now that you told me, I'm in much better shape. I now have an idea what style I might use, so that will make it easier to counter his points. If you're sure. Of course. Now come to my room and help me practice, just to make extra certain I'll win. We get up and walk back to the palace through the gardens, leaving the bouquet of flowers behind on a bench. No! Amicus seems to have gotten his embarrassment out of the whole incident pretty quickly. It's just like him being able to do that, actually. In fact, we're laughing and talking just as easily as we always have, the wolf nudging me every few minutes to punctuate something that he says, each one causing me to stumble. Anyways, Cass tends to stutter off his words in front of large crowds. Not much a rhetorician can do about that. The wolf reaches out the paw, pressing it to the black square. Besides, what exactly is he? Amicus and I stare in surprise as Cassius stares back at us with what looks like even more surprise. and then his eyes narrow. "Excuse me." He tries to move around, but Amicus blocks his way, growling. "What the hell are you doing in here, Cassius?" Amicus seems to reserve his actual yelling only to Cassius, so it makes me jump when I hear it. Cassius collects himself quickly, despite Amicus' intimidating snarls. "Not much of your business, is it?" "If you are in my room, then it is my business." "What are you doing?" The wolf starts to advance on Cassius, stopping just feet away. "Move, Amicus, otherwise I'm calling Kato." Amicus eyes Cassius closely, then finally pulls back, folding his arms. "Snooping around to find something that might give you a chance in the trials? I can tell you now that you will be coming up short." "Obviously, you have nothing to offer to help me win." "Then why come here?" Cassius ignores the wolf, walking past Amicus before passing by me. He turns then. "And you shouldn't be worried about the pitiable display you and your pet put on." He turns to me, and I can't help but frown at him. As stupid as he's ugly. I know that Cassius is just trying to get under Amicus' skin. He knows that he cares about me. But as Cassius reaches out to brush my skin with his paw, I can't stop myself from batting it away. Cassius' eyes widen then, and I can see his paw draw back. I flinch, but immediately Amicus is there, reaching out to grab Cassius by his cape. The smaller wolf is pulled back from me, but Amicus doesn't stop there. As Cassius stumbles past Amicus, the bigger wolf swings his paw, smacking Cassius square in the nose. Oh no. Cassius immediately goes down on his ass, at which point I hear another sound. Ah, no! Amicus and I stare down at the smaller wolf as he sits there, stunned, and then suddenly scrambles up on his feet, a paw to his rear. "Amicus, you bastard! Tail-raising lover of ass!" I take a step back as Cassius practically sprays blood from his mouth. Amicus pulls me to the side, eyes narrowed, but then I can feel his heart hammering against my shoulder. "I'll throw both of you to the dungeon for that! I'll have him executed when I'm emperor!" I see tears start to spill out of Cassius' eyes before he turns and stumbles out of the room, his tail hanging limply to the side. Oh, it was his tail that broke? God dang. Amicus and I stand there for a long time as he leaves, the silence almost oppressive after that loud fight. A few moments later, Amicus is flat on his stomach, looking under his bed as he mumbles something under his breath. I stand awkwardly off to the side, watching as he sweeps his paw underneath, as if feeling for something. "What are you doing?" Amicus grunts as he gets to his knees, then stands up, looking up at the ceiling as he turns in a slow circle. "Looking for whatever cats might I be doing." "You know what he was doing?" "I have my suspicions." "Which are?" Amicus stops his turning to look at me, folding his arms. "Well, I'm not sure, but the recorded device possibly. Or he was just snooping around for information." "Can we just ask Com?" I was actually thinking that as well. Like, can we ask Com what he was doing in here? "No, his capabilities are very limited, despite what his intelligence might suggest. He doesn't record our activities specifically so we can't spy on each other. Rules put in place millennia ago." I sigh and look at the door, still feeling a little shaken of what just happened. "Why can't you just lock the door or something?" Amicus shrugs. "That's something only the Emperor can do. Again, rules have been in place for a very long time." "That doesn't seem fair." "Well, only the most trusted are allowed in the palace after all, which tends to be only family." "Aside from Nefero?" "Aside from him, yes." "You don't have much freedom for being the Emperor's son?" "You just noticed?" Amicus huffs and stands in the middle of the room, his arms folded, a deep frown on his face. "He was probably just trying to find out what you were planning for the next trial. We know some stuff about him already." Amicus continues to look concerned. "What is it?" "I just, Amicus lowers his voice. "Worrying it might have something to do with you. At what he said as he was leaving, it's left me uneasy as all." "Oh yeah, that thing about executing me. I haven't had time to think about the possibility of someone on the verge of near absolute power wanting me dead yet. Do you think he was serious?" Amicus is quiet for a moment. "No, but obviously I'm not going to assume that he wasn't. I won't even give him a chance at the emperorship now." I frown. "And you were going to before?" No, I'm just making extra sure now." I'm quiet. The silent sit on the bed instead. I don't like that this situation has become more serious than it already was. After a moment, Amicus comes to sit next to me, the depression he creates in the mattress forcing me to lean sideways into him. He wraps an arm around me. Don't worry about it all. He has no chance. And besides, I wouldn't let him touch you. How would you be able to do that if you're the Emperor, though? Well, I'm his older brother. Some relationships don't change, even if the official ones does. I stay quiet, unconvinced. Anyways, it would look awfully bad on his record. He just lets his anger get the best of him. He'll quickly forget about the matter with the next trial coming up. Amicus squeezes me. And this is all assuming that he win. But he won't. That's what you said last time. And we had an unforeseeable mishap last time. There isn't much possibility for one of those happening in this trial. We sit there for a while longer, Amicus rubbing my shoulder with his paw. Despite my rising anxiety, it's comforting, and before long, I'm leaning my head against his shoulder. I guess the next episode will be the next trial then, maybe. Ooh, I hope that they will go on a date one day. I really want that to happen. They're so they're so cute together, and I want that to prosper. Also, I'm wondering what's happening between Neferu and Alex. Are they conspiring something, or are they just fucking on the side? Either way, I love you guys. So thank you so much for watching, and remember that you are loved and appreciated, and that you should be proud of who you are, because I want to see you in the next episode. Bye! Oh, fucking hell. I should do something about this.